Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Officially half that work week in the rearview mirror for those of us who are putting in a full work week. If you just started your work week this week, I guess technically that's not true. But we're working towards the weekend here on the Hunt Palmer Show. LSU and Nichols doing battle at the box right now. Tigers lead 5-1 over the visiting Colonels. It'll be a weekend in Jacksonville coming up for the LSU Tigers. Of course, the great tournament put on there by the folks over at Peak Events, and it's our pleasure right now to be joined by the president of Peak Events. That's Nathan Wooldridge, who joins us on Jim's Firearms Hotline. Nathan, thanks for a little bit of time. How are you?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on.
It is certainly our pleasure. LSU, no stranger to these Peak Events tournaments. Tigers have been over to Round Rock last year, put on a show in Frisco in front of a lot of purple and gold fans, and now headed over to Jacksonville. I know that y'all enjoy the presence of the purple and gold at these tournaments.
Yeah, no, we love hosting the LSU Tigers. Have had the opportunity, yeah, like you said, twice already, and once in Round Rock and last year in Frisco, and Frisco selling out the ballpark. Had the fire marshal tell us that we can't let anybody else in the stadium, and obviously hoping for a similar turnout here in Jacksonville this weekend. That's
not a place LSU has been, but obviously a place y'all have hosted a couple of tournaments as well. What's the flavor like over in Jacksonville? What's special about that site for y'all?
Well, first off, it's a second to none venue. AAA Park here in beautiful Jacksonville sits right on the St. Johns River. Just a beautiful facility all around. Great location in North Florida. Great just recruiting hotbed for baseball. It's what brought us here. And an amazing organization also just as far as the front office staff and the people who run this place. So no better choice than to bring a college event here and bring some premium baseball here to the North Florida region.
And LSU obviously going to play starting on Friday afternoon. They'll play Indiana, Notre Dame, and the Central Florida Knights over the course of the 3 days. If you're a Tiger fan and you want to watch, streaming through D1 Baseball. That's what I'm told. I saw a how-to stream, and looks like the entire tournament will be available through the folks over at D1.
Correct. Yeah, this year, again, with at watch.d1baseball.com. Streaming, so you get $29.99 gets you all 4 weekends of our college baseball programming, including the Jacks Classic this weekend and all 6 games tied to that. But, yeah, watch.d1baseball.com. We're excited about that one. We got some great talent on the call. It should be some similar voices or familiar voices for the LSU faithful.
I'll let you go ahead and announce that if you can. It's a bit of a local flavor for the LSU fans this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. We were lucky enough to line up Lynn Rollins and Ben McDonald to call all of the LSU games this weekend. So it'll be a little home flavor for the LSU Tigers.
We like that a ton. Of course, Lynn and Ben have been on the call all weekend long at the box and are on the call right now for LSU and Nichols, and they'll head east with the Tigers as they get ready for Friday's showdown. I was talking to you yesterday, Nathan, and Nathan Wooldridge is our guest. He's the president at Peak Events. They run the Jackson College Baseball Classic, Round Rock Classic, Frisco College Baseball Classic, and the Las Vegas College Baseball Classic as well. 4 great college baseball tournaments early in the season. And you were telling me about some of the charitable things that y'all are able to do through this organization and through these 4 tournaments. I'd love you to expound a little bit on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, this year we've been lucky enough to partner with the Live Like Lou Foundation, which is Lou Gehrig's ALS Foundation, primarily with the Jacksonville Classic and the Las Vegas Classic. It's the Live Like Lou Jacks Classic and the Live Like Lou Las Vegas Classic. And a big part of the event is just raising funds for those guys and their mission to make an impact on the ALS community, not only in the market here local to Jacksonville, but also the home markets of these teams. And so we'll be doing some different fundraising avenues throughout the weekend to try to help those guys. And Peak Events ourselves are going to match up to $25,000 of those donation dollars with Live Like Lou. In addition, proceeds from ticket sales, merch sales, even pieces of or parts of the stream proceeds, all are going back to the Live Like Lou Foundation and their mission with ALS.
That's an incredible cause. And you also have allowed the teams to get involved with grants as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This year we are lucky enough to have an opportunity for when the fans come in, they're going to have the opportunity to vote on a community impact player of the tournament. And what that'll do is there's one player per team, and whichever team/player wins that at the end of the tournament, the Live Like Lou Foundation is going to give them a grant so that they're able to make an impact on an ALS family within their home community where the school is located.
And for Tiger fans that are in the area that haven't already purchased tickets, where are tickets available for the Live Like Lou Jacks College Baseball Classic?
Tickets can be online at livelikeloujackscbc.com. It's livelikeloujackscbc.com, and that's JAXCBC.com. All the tickets are available there. Start at $25 for the day, or you get $70 for the whole weekend. You get all 6 games.
We know that LSU was over in Round Rock in 2023 with that Paul Skeens national championship team. Last year, LSU was in Frisco with a national championship team. The hope is LSU's back in Omaha this year. Any plans to keep LSU in y'all's plans? Because it seems like it goes pretty well when LSU plays in one of these tournaments. They end up winning the national championship. Can y'all keep them around?
That's the hope, obviously. I think if we get them 3 for 3, if they get one this year, I think Coach Jay may be bought in for life, hopefully. But yeah, there's some hope and some plan to have the Tigers back in an event next year, maybe a little further out west, maybe unique destination location. We can to be announced at a little bit later date, but hoping to get the Tigers in every year, hopefully moving forward.
We love to hear that. Obviously, LSU fans can watch all weekend long, and if you're in the area, head on over and get some tickets to the Live Like Lou Jacks College Baseball Classic. Nathan Wooldridge is the president over at Peak Events. They'll be running things all weekend long. Nathan, we appreciate your time. I know it's a busy weekend for y'all. Hopefully, a ton of purple and gold headed y'all's way, and a great weekend of baseball.
Absolutely. We appreciate the time and look forward to, like you said, all the purple and gold showing out here in Jacksonville.
That's Nathan Wooldridge, the president of Peak Events over there in Jacksonville, where LSU will start on Friday afternoon, right when we start our show. We'll be playing Saturday afternoon and Sunday as well. I talked to Nathan, and I've actually talked to Lynn Rollins as well, who's been in Baton Rouge this weekend and is headed over to Jacksonville, as I mentioned, to call it with Lynn and Ben. And I talked about this a little bit earlier this week. I don't work for Peak Events. I don't work for the Jacksonville Community Chamber of Commerce. I wasn't in Frisco or Round Rock. I'm just relaying a message and giving all my personal experience. I know that y'all have had some issues with the streams in the past with these D1 baseball broadcasts. They're aware of it. I think Kendall is. Nathan's aware of it as well. The LSU demand is significant, and there's not been a specific lapse by D1 baseball or Peak Events. They're streaming partners, and they're in the infancy of this deal, and there is a real plan to grow this that I talked to Nathan about, and they understand what has happened the last couple of years. Again, I've not had any issue. I've watched all 6 games with no problems, but I know that some of y'all have, so I'm not dismissing that in any way. They're ready for LSU, and they're excited about this weekend. They've given a little bit of a local flavor with Lynn and Ben on the call, and I think it's going to go great. I'm excited to watch LSU. I don't know a ton about the 3 teams that LSU is going to play. I'm going to dive into that tomorrow, and we'll have a full preview of the weekend on tomorrow's show since they'll be playing on Friday. But I want to let y'all know that they're excited about this event. They want to keep LSU in it. They understand that things haven't gone perfectly from a streaming perspective. Look, I mean, if you were in Frisco last year, I got nothing but positive vibes from inside the stadium. I heard everything went great. If y'all remember this time last year, I was wrestling with whether or not to go to Frisco, where we were going to set my show up, because my wife was 8 months pregnant. And the due date was a little bit further along, but she felt like Keller may be showing up, and he ended up coming on March 9th. So we had a little bit of time. But I didn't go to Frisco, but apparently on site, everything's been phenomenal. And Jay Johnson loves these events for his team. He thinks they're first class. And you've heard the charitable situations, the opponents that have been brought in to play against LSU. Seth Darter was on the Kansas State team that was there last year. But from the streaming perspective, they're confident this year that things are going to be awesome with Lynn and Ben on the call. I'm looking forward to it. They're going to get my $30 because I think it's worth it to watch 3 baseball games for the $30. But they understand what things have happened, and again are making every effort to make sure that this is as smooth as possible this weekend. So wanted to give Nathan the time to come on and talk about it, and looking forward to some baseball this weekend. Speaking of baseball, LSU, I believe 6-1 now the tally over there at the box. Tigers in control of this one against Nichols. if it's up to me, I hope they get this thing done in 7 innings, can tack on 5 more here and get on over to Jacksonville at this point. So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep you updated as we continue to move forward with the show here on this Wednesday. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, let's talk about LSU basketball last night and a little bit more big picture as well. I want to do all that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Speaking of baseball, Marucci, that's baseball. It's the official baseball bat of Major League Baseball, and they're made right here in Baton Rouge. You can go by and take a tour of where they make 1,200 bats a day to ship off to the best players in the world. You're watching spring training games coming up here shortly this week. Marucci bats you'll see in World Baseball Classic, Major League Baseball. Even if you go out to the box, you'll see bats from the folks over at Marucci's, handcrafted for Major League Baseball. 22 years ago, they started the Backyard Shed. Now they're the bat. It's an incredible story from here in Baton Rouge, and you can take a tour of how all that goes down. If you take that tour, go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Every ticket to the tour comes with a 20% discount to the Campus Tour store and in the hitter's house. Grab some lumber. Take some swings in the cage. Bring your youth baseball team. Bring your youth softball team. Bring your family, or go see it yourself. It's an awesome, awesome spot here in Baton Rouge. And you can check them out online at maruccisports.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
So I'm at Court at the Table last night. I'm doing sports trivia, and I'm watching LSU in Texas. And the first half kind of looks like I thought the first half would look. Max McKinnon didn't start, and I'm going, oh, this is going to get ugly. And then he came in the game, and Texas, who's very, very good on offense, was very, very good on offense in the first half. And LSU, who's bad on defense, was really bad on defense in the first half. And in the first half, Texas shot 63% from the floor. They shot 67% from three, 6 of 9. Got to the line 10 times, made 8 of them. And LSU got dusted in the first half, as I kind of thought that they might. They were down 15. And then LSU got 4 stops in a row in the second half, and they went on a little 10-0 burst. And you look at the game, and they keep feeding McKinnon, and he kind of started playing out of the high post area and backing guys down and getting to a 6-footer, and he was making shots. And all of a sudden you look up, and it's 8, and it's 4, and it's 3, and LSU's back in the game. McKinnon was unstoppable in the second half. At one point, he was 7 of 9 from the floor, and he had 19 points. And you were back in the game. And you had chances late. Like, if you look at the way this game was shaping up toward the end, McKinnon makes a 3, and then he makes a couple of free throws, and then he gets to the rim and makes a layup, and with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go in this game, you're down 5. Jalen Reese makes a couple of free throws on a run out. You're down 3 with 1:39 left. And with a minute 39 left, Max McKinnon didn't take another shot. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, sure, they're going to focus on him, but you have to create a way to get him the ball because he's dominating them, and they're not good on defense. I talked about Texas yesterday. They're not a good defensive team. And LSU didn't do that. You ran a high ball screen and ran a little pocket pass to Mike Nwoku, who threw up a floater from 6 feet, which is not the worst shot I've ever seen, but you had a guy that had 19 points after halftime. I'd like him to touch it. He didn't. And then next time down the floor, you end up with a 6-foot point guard on a good day driving down the lane against a 7'1" center from Texas who blocked it. And McKinnon is just nowhere to be seen. That kind of stuff drives me insane. Like, I'm not John Wooden here. I'm not Larry Brown or Phil Jackson. I'm not Matt McMahon. But, like, the guy's on a heater. Get him the ball. And they didn't. And they lose the game. Ended up losing by 3, but McKinnon made a layup with no time on the clock to make it 3. It doesn't matter because LSU's not doing anything. this year in basketball. But that irritated me, and I wanted to get it off my chest. So I did. But the big picture stuff is more interesting. Matt Moscona had Verge Osbury on yesterday talking about the athletic department and budgeting. And I wrote a story about it at LouisianaSports.net. It's got some quotes in it, and highly suggest you go check out the interview on demand, wherever you find your sound, and you can find it on YouTube as well. And Matt asked about finances on one hand, and then later in the interview asked directly about basketball. We'll go directly to the basketball first, and Verge gave the exact answer you would think you were going to get. He gave you the answer of, we'll evaluate after the season. LSU basketball should be competitive. It's the number 2 money driver in our athletic department, and we should be in the NCAA tournament. Like, that's the generic answer that he gave you. And that doesn't tell you anything other than that you're not going to make the tournament for the 4th straight year. Is that enough to make a move? Well, you don't get it from that answer. But the answer that I found a little bit more revealing, a little bit more compelling, perhaps a little bit more interesting, was that he talked about the athletic department and running things financially and being good at everything. And you understand where that question is rooted in. Just point to any athletic department in the SEC, and you have a general idea of what sports they excel in and what sports they're going to invest in, okay? Like Mississippi State, not really going to win the SEC in football. But in baseball, they got a real good shot, okay? Arkansas, in football, they've said, like, we can't really compete right now. But in basketball and baseball, they're spending big bucks. Georgia is all in on football. They spend some money on baseball. Basketball's been a bit of a drag. But you get the picture. You get what I'm telling you, okay? And LSU, if you were to tell somebody in Baton Rouge about LSU, or you were to tell somebody in Knoxville, Tennessee about LSU, they go, well, they're really awesome at baseball, and they got Kim Mulkey, women's basketball, they win a lot. And football, like their LSU, they'll spend. Well, what about their basketball program? Well, they're not usually any good. That's generally what the thought is. And so Verge's quote to Matt in speaking about being really good at everything, I thought was interesting. Verge said, we have 18 sports that are ranked in the top 25 in our athletic department. There are 21 total. So we have 18 that are ranked in the top 25 in our athletic department. That's a conversation we have amongst ourselves. We're going to try to win in every sport, but I have to admit to you that it's going to be very expensive to do that. Days are changing. So we have to sit down as a staff and analyze what's important to us, and where we can win. Listen to this part. Quote, places where we don't think we can win or can't be successful, you might make changes there. Overall, we're going to try to do what we can do in this new age, new climate. This is basically what it comes down to. I'm not speaking out of bounds when I speak about the men's basketball program that is 2-11 in the SEC in the 4th year under this coach. Speaking in broad terms, not specifically to LSU, in broad terms, I don't believe there is a athletic program in the conference that would accept a 2-11 basketball record in year 4 without ever having a winning record in the league and never making the NCAA tournament. That 4-year run is not good enough anywhere. I can tell you that. You can tell me that. Verge Osbury would tell you that. Matt McMahon would tell you that. He would. He would tell you that. Now, everyone is going to have a different opinion based on circumstances. NCAA probation, lack of NIL development, lack of revenue sharing, increased revenue sharing, injuries, coaching ability, talent acquisition, development. Dice that up any way you want to. But what I can't speak to, I just can't. I cannot speak to this, is whether or not the investment will be made in overhauling things in basketball. It's significant. The case to do it is very easy. Florida did it. They won a national championship. Auburn did it. They made a couple Final Fours. Had the best home environment in college basketball for a few years. Alabama did it. They're among the top 15 programs in the country now, probably top 10. Arkansas just did it. They made the Sweet 16 last year, and they're really good this year. There are some schools that have not done it and have had more success than LSU has. I wouldn't suggest Mississippi State's all in college basketball, but Chris Jans has done a pretty good job there. They usually make the tournament. I don't know that Texas A&M is out over their skis investing, but Buzz got a lot of rebounds, played some good defense, made the tournament. Buckyball, now they're not doing anything like that. They're running all over the place shooting threes. They're going to make the tournament. But men's basketball is the number 2 revenue producer in LSU's athletic department. You're talking about a program that generated $11 million last year when no one really cared because they were one of the worst 2 teams in the SEC. And you netted about $2.5 million from that. Outside of football, that netted about $67 million. Men's basketball, about 2.5. Everybody else operated in the red. Baseball won the Natty, led the nation in attendance, is incredible. They lost $920,000. Women's basketball spends astronomically on coaches' salaries, and they do all the traveling, and the TV deal is not as good. They lost about $8 million. Is it worth investing into men's basketball to try to fix this and make more money to net more than $2.5 million? Well, you make $2.5 million next year, you're way in the red as a program because you have invested heavily in rev sharing and coaching. I just don't know. I know, like everyone else, that what we're watching is not good enough. I know there are multiple reasons for that. What I don't know is whether or not LSU is going to make a change. And again, to quote that Verge Osbury quote, we have to sit down as a staff and analyze what's important to us and where we can win. Places where we don't think we can win or can't be successful, you might make changes there. Like, don't think we can win is a strong statement at Louisiana State University. LSU wins at everything. They win at golf. They win at gymnastics. They win at track, football, baseball. Softball is a top 16 program. LSU wins at everything. So when you hear the athletic director say places we don't think we can win, I'm listening. And right now, it says we're going to assess the program at the end of the year. Dr. Roos, chairman of the board, are going to get together, look at a whole, and try to figure out where we are in basketball. We've got to be financially responsible to the institution of LSU also in making these decisions. It's not going to be moving coaches around and firing coaches just to fire a coach. We think we're going to go about it in an intelligent way and try to make sure this is the right thing to do at this time. I mean, if you just look at the record, it is what it is. You're talking about a team in 4 years in league play that's 16-51. 16-51. The town has given up, and the results have not changed. I pull for that program. I hope it does well. And I pulled for Matt McMahon every time they've run it on the floor. But 2-11 in year 4 is 2-11 in year 4. I don't have there's no rebuttal to that. Not a significant one. And you hope that things get better soon. That's at least my hope, because they certainly didn't last night as LSU put a comeback together and couldn't quite get it done. So, tell you about friends over at Ochsner. Of course, we just had a great conversation with Dr. Chris Bankhead over at Ochsner, and they all want to remind you that February is, of course, Heart Month. Great time. Focus on your overall health and wellness. Heart disease is the number 1 cause of death for men and women, but it's often preventable. Stay active, exercise, eat a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, manage your stress, and try to get some sleep. If you can avoid smoking and limit alcohol consumption, that's awesome. Your primary care provider is your partner in prevention for this. They help monitor blood pressure, monitor cholesterol, look at your overall heart health. And those regular checkups absolutely matter. Early detection and guidance can keep you on track for a healthy heart. So schedule your primary care appointment at oxford.org/brprimary. That's oxford.org/brprimary, because small steps today lead to a stronger heart tomorrow. LSU and Nichols on the diamond right now. Tigers still leading that one 6-1. I think the run rule is effect today, so if LSU can continue to tackle on some things offensively, maybe able to get this thing to the finish line rather expeditiously, and then maybe they can get out to Jacksonville. I think this this evening is when they're heading over there. So we'll keep tabs on that as they continue to move forward. I'll have a write-up on LouisianaSports.net a little bit later on as well. When we come back, Saints defensive player in the first round. What do we think? I'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carbo and his team, phenomenal folks to work with in the insurance game. They're technically experts. They're not going to call you and say, hey, I can save you 20%. Check this out. That's just not realistic in the marketplace this day and age. What is realistic is making sure that for the good money that you spend on insurance premiums, that you are covered for that car accident, for that link that got clicked on by one of your staffers that wasn't supposed to click it, covered for that storm that comes through and the power's out. Do you have your building properly evaluated? Are you going to incur co-insurance penalties because you're not properly insured? These are the things that won't happen if you're with the Howell Insurance Group. Jonathan Carver and his team want to be that second set of eyes for you. So if your renewal's coming up, you want a second set of eyes, want another opinion, they're an independent broker. They've got contracts with dozens of carriers. They can make sure that your business is placed where it should be. So check them out online at HighlandIG.com. It's the Howell Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, 25 locations across Southeast Louisiana. If you're looking for a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. Looking for a personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. Started up in 1910, 116 years later, they are still here. So no matter where you are in Southeast Louisiana, whether you're up on I-12 in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa, down the bayou in St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, right here in Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, First American Bank and Trust, happy to help you with all things banking. It's a local feel. The people that work in First American Bank and Trust, they go to church with you. Their kids go to school with yours. They make the decisions here. They don't outsource those to Atlanta. Nobody's picking up your application there in San Francisco and trying to figure things out. Everything's done right here. It's a local bank. If you're thinking, well, I don't want to do business with a mom and pop shop. I want the big national banks. Well, you don't need any more resources than what First American Bank and Trust has. That's why they have 25 locations. And you get the customer service that you're looking for from a local bank. Walk on into any of their 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Introduce yourself. They would love to help you with your commercial loan or your personal loan. It's First American Bank and Trust. Now, we've been talking all week about the Saints and potential offensive additions they could make. We've talked about Mekhi Lemon from USC. We've talked about Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. We've talked about going to the running back ranks in free agency and going to get Breece Hall, and talked about going to get Travis Etienne. But the defense is also an option with that first-round pick that the Saints have. And I saw a mock draft today that mentioned Cashius Howell as a potential fit for the New Orleans Saints. Cashius Howell is, of course, the SEC's Defensive Player of the Year this past season in his redshirt senior year at Texas A&M. He was absolutely fantastic for this team. He had 14 tackles for loss, 11 and a half sacks, and that was capitalizing on a season in 2024 when he had 8.5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. He just continued to get better. The production for Cashius Howell is phenomenal, and I would suggest the tape is excellent as well. That sends off like sirens to me about what the Saints did with Isaiah Foskey, who was the all-time sacks leader at Notre Dame. Howell's production was fantastic, but there are two kind of strikes against him that you have to reconcile if that's a guy you want to pick up in the draft. He's only 6'2", which does not give you very long arms, does not give you those long levers that you love in pass rushers. And he's a fifth-year player, meaning he's not super young. But the production is off the charts. The motor was off the charts. I mean, I can remember vividly in that first LSU drive in Tiger Stadium, the last day of the Brian Kelly era, he came flying off the offensive left side, and Carius Curran was out there, and it was no chance. I mean, no chance. He came humming off that edge and just hammered Garrett Nussmeier. And he's a really, really good player. And I would suggest if the Saints want to use their first-round pick or a second-round pick on an edge rusher, that would be a good investment. Chase Young is in a great spot right now in terms of his production last year, his play last year. I like Carl Granderson a lot. And look, Cam Jordan had a great year, but he's not guaranteed to be back, and he's certainly not guaranteed to throw 10 more sacks at you. And I don't think you want him out there for 70% of the defensive snaps. Getting the next guy in line to fill in those shoes, I think would be a very good thing. If the Saints are planning on playing in huge games and winning huge games, you're going to have to beat great quarterbacks. You're going to have to do that in the playoffs. And to do that, you got to get after them. And I wouldn't submit that the Saints have a weakness at edge rusher right now, but it's always a spot you can add to. And to do it in an inexpensive way, I think, is great. Edge rushers are expensive. They're really expensive in free agency, and most teams, if they get one, won't part with it. So the best way to acquire these, especially at the right cost, is to do so in the draft. I have no problem with the profile production of Cashius Howell. Y'all might look at me and go, well, he's an A&M guy. Don't you hate Texas A&M? I do. But he's not wearing those colors anymore. This is all about getting the best guy. I'm worried about the size, and I worry about the age a little bit. I think drafting an old quarterback is one thing. Drafting an old edge rusher is a little bit different. But I can get on board with this one too. It's probably not first on my list, and you'd never know who's available whenever you're drafting or what the situation holds. But I can get on board with this one because I think edge rusher is a playoff winning position. And if you think that the next step for the Saints is to get to the playoffs and win playoff games, that position is one that I'm okay with you adding with. It doesn't necessarily help Tyler Shuck on his side of the ball. And if you trust the playmakers you've already got to an extent, then this becomes a little bit easier. I would go offense first if you made me call it. But going to the defense side of the ball at edge rusher, I would probably go to even before cornerback, honestly. And your depth is better at edge rusher than cornerback. I just think edge rusher is harder to come by. I think you can find a corner in the second, third, fourth, fifth round. Got to do well. I think you can find one. Finding an edge rusher in the fifth round, that's a fluke if it happens. Finding an edge rusher in the third round is really hard. So I'm rarely going to jump down your throat for making a swing at that in that spot in the draft because it's just about the only place you can get one. So if you look at those numbers overall in his last two seasons, 15.5 sacks, 22.5 tackles for loss, you think, yeah, he might not be an all-pro, but we've already got Chase Young and Carl Granderson. He just adds to our depth there and can be a good playmaker and maybe blossoms into something more. I'm okay with that, especially if Bo Davis thinks it's a good idea. I'd go offense first, but I'm certainly not opposed to finding a way to go in with Cashius Howell here, who I think has the ability to be an impact guy based on what I saw in his time at Texas A&M, which was insanely productive. If he was 3 inches taller, it'd be a slam dunk. He's just not, and it's part of the deal, part of the evaluation. That's how you gotta get him right. But Jordan, Isaiah Foskey was long and lean. How'd that work out?
And also, he was extremely productive in college.
He was.
Game's all-time sack leader.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, the draft is such a crapshoot, but I think you have to go offense first just because you still have Gradison and Chase Young's coming off a good year. We'll see what they do with Cam Jordan. But like I said, if you go offense first, I'm all with trying to shore up that pass rush in those later picks, especially because, Cam Jordan's not getting any younger, and who knows how long Gradison's going to be here.
I don't know how I would quantify this. It would take a lot of research that, candidly, I'm probably not willing to do because it's just a lot. But like the productivity of third-round wide receivers as opposed to third-round edge rushers, I bet wide receivers are way better.
Okay.
I feel like finding a wide receiver, finding a 6'2" dude that can run and catch and run routes, is probably easier to do in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Okay.
Like, how many Puka Nakuas are an edge rusher?
It's rare. It's one of those guys where it's
You
like
gotta have the
super
guys
sleeper.
are the guys. Yeah, the guys that you find that are great edge rushers go in the first 40 picks.
Oh, without a doubt. Or number 1, Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
You get a Myles Garrett. This year I don't really Bane, but he's not a Myles Garrett type of prospect. So,
That's too much to put
Yeah,
on
I'm about to
anybody.
say
Nobody.
Yeah.
I saw Myles Garrett. He's in Leonard Fournette's high school class.
Yes.
And I was at the Under Armour All-American game that year because, coincidentally, LSU played Iowa in the bowl game the day before. So all the beat was down there, and we're like, we'll just stay an extra day and go to the Under Armour game because they got Leonard Fournette and Malachi Dupree, and they're getting
That's back
Speedy
when it was
Noyle
lit.
and
Yeah.
Gerald Willis, and they're going 5 for 5 and the whole deal. So we went, and I had never heard of Myles Garrett at that point. He was already committed to Texas A&M, and I saw him on the field.
Yeah.
And I went, huh? Who is that?
Yeah.
It was Myles Garrett. They don't look like that really anywhere else. I'd have never seen anyone look like that.
No.
Certainly not a high schooler.
No. I mean, he's an absolute freak of nature, and he honestly, if you didn't have to spend 3 years in college, he probably could have went to the league like one of those guys where it's like, yeah, we'll take him. We'll
It's
take him out of high
rare,
school.
but nobody on that field. I mean, Leonard Fournette was a freak of nature,
Man.
and Myles Garrett was way bigger than him.
Listen,
Crazy.
I was in high school during the Leonard Fournette, Booger Nation, all that. Trust me, this dude, he was at the game, not even playing. He was in the stands taking pictures with everybody at Antagonic Stadium. Never forget that. Leonard Fournette. But no, I mean, I think if you nail the offense with the first pick, because I think that's more important, let's look at it, Cashius Howell. Let's look at some of these pass rushes later on down the line.
Let's talk. We'll close out the show. I was meant to tell you the score of the LSU-Nichols game. LSU leads at 6-1 over the Colonels, bottom of the 4th inning there from the box. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. It's lifetimeroofingla.com. Re-roofing, inspections, repairs, they can do it. Peace of mind is important when you're dealing with your roof in South Louisiana. Lifetime Roofing knows that, and they are happy to give you that peace of mind. Not only can they give you that peace of mind with the inspection and with a new roof that they can provide with you, but they also give you peace of mind to know that they've got a lifetime workmanship warranty, and that warranty is handling the workmanship as well as the materials that are backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest, most trusted names in building materials. Don't wait until storm season to try to get that new roof. Think about it now. Have them come out and inspect it. If you need a new roof, they can do it. If you don't need a new roof, and it's just something as simple as a repair, they can do that as well. They're not just here to grab that check and move on to the next one. They're a Baton Rouge-based company. They can service Louisiana over into Houston, and they care about this community. They care about the people that they serve. You get that because they give away a roof to a military family every single year. You know that because they're there as a first responder when there's a significant weather event that, generally speaking, involves roofing companies. Trust the folks at Lifetime Roofing. Find them at lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. That's the website. But more importantly, just text Joey Blanchard. He's the owner of the company. If you want to get into a brand new pool, the pool of your dreams, if you want an outdoor kitchen where you can entertain during the spring, summer, and fall months, if you want to build the home of your dreams, Joey Blanchard and the folks at Renaissance Homes and Pools can do it. So shoot Joey a text. 225-252-7745. Again, 225-252-7745. Shoot him a text, say, hey, I'd like to talk about a pool. He'll get right back to you. Shoot him a text, say, hey, I want that outdoor kitchen. He'll get right back to you. He's been doing it for folks in Baton Rouge for decades. If you're looking for your forever home, they can build that for you as well. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can see pictures of their great work. I tell you about them every single week and how it's just awesome to work with a local company with an owner who's invested, an owner that's going to be with you every step of the way. He's there when you go through the consultation and the design work. He's there when they dig that pool. He's there when they fill that pool or finish it. He's there when that outdoor kitchen is complete. So you know who you're dealing with, and you know how to get in touch with them. It's not one of these national companies that might have a site manager that might take another job somewhere. You deal with the owner at Renaissance Homes and Pools. That's Joey Blanchard. Check them out online at builtbyrenaissance.com. They bring you our Wednesday shows each and every week. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or
it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs have restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract this week, creating a much-needed salary cap space ahead of the 2026 season. This restructuring is going to convert $54 million of Mahomes' contract into a signing bonus, which created $43 million in cap space. This marks the fourth consecutive year the Chiefs have restructured Mahomes' contract. And the question I have for you, Hunt, is Mickey Loomis, has he changed the game? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. I mean, he and Kai Harley were out in front of this.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It just seems really silly that you can snap your fingers and do all that when they're supposed to be putting that in place so you can't pay an exorbitant. What? I don't care. I'm losing sleep over it, but it is a little absurd that you can snap a finger and create $43 million in cap space with an all-pro quarterback. But it is what it is. Good for them.
No, it is, man. So I guess we got to give Mickey his flowers. I hate to do it.
Always doing it. Always these days.
I know, man. I can't believe what I've become. So Will Wade and NC State took advantage of the hampered North Carolina Tar Heels in a whomping 82-58 victory to move to 19-8 on the year. The 28-point win signifies the largest defeat of North Carolina against the Wolfpack since 1959. Even better, is also the highest victory margin for the Wolfpack since 1962. So will Wade make the North Carolina State Wolfpack a contender? Take it or leave it.
Contender for what? I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I'll say it. Like, it was very difficult for me to watch NC State absolutely annihilate North Carolina on one screen at quarter table while Texas was wearing LSU out and moving them to 2-11. Like, that's a hard thing to sit there and look at. I get it. I get it for LSU fans. They're, I think, 11-4 in league play now over in Raleigh. It is what it is. He's really good, and LSU's basketball team right now is not very good.
I mean, I have nothing to say because I both had the split screen of both those games up too.
Yep.
My first LSU game I tapped in this year, and I was looking towards the end of the game. So Chris Paul revealed on Carmelo Anthony podcast, the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast, that even after this Clippers saga, that the franchise still plans to retire his jersey. So retiring the jersey of a franchise legend, you kick to the curb. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean,
Leave it alone.
I get it, and I don't. Honestly, he's played for so many teams over so many years. I can't even keyhole what the accomplishments were for the Clippers. They got to maybe a conference final or something.
Playoffs, that's about it.
I can't compartmentalize what he did in Phoenix, what he did with the Clippers, and what he did.
Houston.
That was another one.
Hornets.
I don't know. I can't.
OKC.
I don't have the Pelicans / Hornets. I can't. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't feel like to me that Chris Paul is a Clippers legend, but whatever.
Oh, so my next question would have to be, well, my follow-up would be, do you see the Pelicans retiring number 3, putting in the rafters? I don't think they have any jersey retired anyway. So
no, just Maravich. So no, I don't think that'll happen. I think if they win that game 7, but they didn't win that game 7, so.
I don't know. I just think the team that needs some type of good PR because they already know they're in the gutter. Well, it can't get no worse. I can see them being like, "Hey, Chris Paul bobblehead night" or something like that in the upcoming days. Just something to get the fans like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go to Chris Paul bobblehead night." You know? Something nasty, man. Trust me, they've been sitting. If you're a Pelicans fan, you know they've been sending you text messages. Hey, we got these premium packs tickets to get all this little crazy stuff. So
I know somebody. This was like 10 years ago, but I know somebody who once called Pelicans ticket office to give up the corporate tickets that they own. It was through the business and they own the tickets. Yeah. And they said, we're going to give them up this year. And the Pelicans said, well, what if we moved you to the club level at half court and then gave you like a 40% discount? And he was like, I would keep it. And then he kept it.
Okay, so, you know what? I need to do that. I need to be strong-armed them. I need to strong-arm them. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, that's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. LSU leading the Nicholls State. Colonel Santiago Garcia throwing the ball pretty well here. In the fifth inning, Tigers lead 6-1. Fell down 1-0 on a home run off Zach Coward in the first inning, but Trent Caraway grand slam in the first inning was the big blow for LSU that now has a 5-run lead. Got to keep adding here and see if they can get to the run rule. That was what I would prefer to this point. They're just in control of the game against Nicholls, looking to move to 5-0 before they go to Jacksonville for the weekend. Speaking of Jacksonville, first segment of hour number 2, we talked to Nathan Wooldridge, who's the president of Peak Events, about the event, about how to stream it, where tickets are available, and all that. So you can catch that on demand at 2 o'clock. In the first hour, we talked to Matthew Bruni about a little bit of basketball. I gave some quick thoughts on Zach Cowan as a starting pitcher. It was What If Wednesday. So if you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find our sound. Reminder, our LSU channel is Hunt on LSU. Our Saints channel is Hunt on Saints. If you're just looking for one of those two and some digestible 10, 15-minute segments, you can find those wherever you find your podcasts, on YouTube, of course, as well. Excited for tomorrow's show. It's the last show that we have of the week that doesn't get absolutely railroaded by LSU baseball. So tomorrow we will talk about LSU and Nichols today. We'll, of course, preview the weekend in Jacksonville as well for LSU baseball, as this will be a little step up in competition for the Tigers. So we'll do a little bit of that. We'll also talk to Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, on tomorrow's show. So we'll look forward to that. Hope everybody has a safe and happy Wednesday evening. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, at the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry family, you know, they've been in business in Baton Rouge 35 years. You know, you get an unbelievable buying experience with great customer service and great service after the sale as well. They've been doing that at 3 locations with 5 brands, and they are thrilled as of October 1st of 2025 to take over that Chevrolet GMC point on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Take the short drive up from Baton Rouge. If you're up in the Felicianas, of course, over in Point Capee, it's a quick drive over there as well. The entire inventory is on the lot at FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for a truck, Chevy Silverados, up to $11,000 off MSRP or 1.9 APR financing. Looking for a GMC Sierra? How about up to $13,000 off MSRP, 0.0 APR financing as well. So if you want a truck this first quarter of 2026, look no further than the folks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. And check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com.